Good morning. Here's a loaded question. Who here was stressed this week? Anyone? Everyone? I don't know. It's been a great week for me, yet there was still some stress. And oftentimes, even if it's positive as opposed to negative stress, it can still disrupt our sleep, make our digestive system not work as well. We're still in an upregulated or activated state. And as busy people, you are probably kind of used to that, and maybe by now it even feels normal. I am here to tell you that it does not have to be that way. Good morning, Sharon Luella. It's so nice to see you here. How are you? Today, what we're going to do is talk about how to stress less and thrive more using nervous system hacks that will take 30 to 60 seconds, and you can do these throughout the day to just feel more calm, centered, and grounded in the storm of your life or your workday. What we're going to be doing is talking about three things to keep in mind as you are regulating your nervous system. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any thoughts about what we might do? One of them might be a little surprising. So, what we're going to talk about first is actually inhibitory tools. I'm going to share a tool that has been really useful, especially for people who have been sitting at a computer all day and feel like their eyes just need a break because they're strained and tired and sore at the end of the day. It's really important when we look at the hierarchy of our nervous system to consider how our visual system is being affected by the things that we do. If you imagine this triangle, we have our visual system at the very top. Our brain relies heavily on what our eyes tell us. So we want that information to be as accurate as we can make it. That means if there are deficits in your ability to move your eyes, coordinate your two eyes as a team, or translate information that your visual system brings into your brain in that interpretation process, will feel better and there will be less threat in our system overall. So, when we look at the visual system, if our eyes are tired because we've been staring at a computer 12 inches from our face all day, we've been forcing our eyes to come inwards into slight convergence, and that strains the muscles around the eyes. One of the things that has been really helpful for me to do in incorporating this into my visual training is what's called a visual reset. And as I said, this counts as an inhibitory tool because we are not actually stimulating our eyes. We're getting enough stimulation as it is. We're closing them and allowing them to relax. The really cool thing about this drill is that it also activates a reflex that helps to slow down our heart rates. So not only are your eyes getting a rest to help bring you into a more rest and digest state, but you are also creating this reflex that slows down your maybe racing heart during a stressful period of time. So you can do this for both your eyes and for overall feelings of anxiety or unease. Let's do our test before and see if this impacts our system. So I'm just going to turn my head from side to side, getting a sense of where my neck rotation is at this morning. Go ahead and do that a few times, get warmed up. And then all we're going to do is use the palms of your hands to just cover your eye sockets. Your eyes could be open. I would suggest closing them so that you can use the center of your palm to apply a really gentle bit of pressure to your eyeballs, like a dime's weight, not heavy pressure. And then we're just going to slow our breathing down, maybe doing some straw breaths in through the nose, long, slow breath out through the mouth. Ready to go? So both hands over your eyes, making sure that you're shutting out all the light. And then just breathing here with me. We'll go for 3 or 4 breaths, maybe about 30 seconds. Letting your eye muscles just relax. Imagine all of the tension melting out of those muscles. One more breath in and slowly out. Ooh, everything's bright now. You can take your hands off of your eyes. Take another breath in and out just to let your nervous system catch up. And then try whatever test you did. If it was neck rotation, you can join me here and see how that feels for you. A positive test would mean gaining range of motion. A neutral test would feel about the same when you turned your head side to side. And a negative test would be a restriction in range of motion, or perhaps the onset of pain or stiffness earlier. How did you do with that? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. We're going to move on to our second hack. And this might seem a little silly, but it's to keep our brains well fueled. If we go about our day and we don't have the oxygen and the glucose that our brains need to function, then guess what? We are not going to be thinking clearly. We might encounter brain fog. Basically, our brain is going to be devoting any resources it has to our vital functions like breathing and our heart rate and rhythm, as opposed to what we need to feel prepared and organized in our day, which is our frontal lobe, where reasoning and logic and decision making occur. So we need that executive function. And if we don't have the fuel for our brain, then it's less likely to be able to produce the outputs that we're looking for. So for this, all I would like you to consider is a breathing drill of some kind throughout the day. And I just did straw breathing in combination with the visual reset. So if you're busy, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. As a reminder, our straw breath is a 2-second inhale through the nose, followed by a pursed lip exhalation for about 8 seconds. So we're really trying to draw out that exhalation because that's what tells our nervous system, hey, it's okay to relax. After all, if we are less oxygenated than our brain would like us to be, we'll end up getting hangry and in a bad mood, and nobody really wants that. So if you would like to reassess some kind of range of motion, maybe let's look at our shoulder rotation. See how you're doing with that this morning. And then let's do 3 straw breaths. Your eyes can be open or closed for this, whatever feels more comfortable for you. So we're breathing in for a couple seconds and out for about 8 seconds. Inhaling for a couple seconds. Imagining a wave of relaxation sweeping through your body, exhaling out. Long, slow, relaxing breath out. And one more breath in. Filling your lungs, feeling your ribcage expand. And then a long, slow exhale. I can feel my digestive tract growling, so that's a good sign. Let's reassess that range of motion. If you did shoulder rotation with me, you can see whether you're gaining more internal or external rotation. If you stuck with the neck rotation, take a look at what that is like now. Does anyone have a positive response to that drill? If you do have questions about any of the drills, maybe you aren't testing positive or you're not really sure how to modify it so that you get a good response, then please comment here or send me a message and let me know, and I can help troubleshoot so that it does feel better for you. Because ideally, we want to be doing breathing drills on a regular basis to ensure that our brain is well fueled. As for the glucose or the food component, if you have a piece of fruit or maybe some chocolate, something that has some carbs in it, that would be ideal for a quick snack, especially if you feel like you're hitting the wall during the day. Okay, now we are on to our third step here, our third hack for creating a sense of calm in the middle of a busy, rushed day or life, depending on how you're doing. And this is to activate our nervous system. So we started with inhibition, then we moved to our breathing and our fuel, and now we're going to be activating. So for this one, I would suggest grabbing something that you like the smell of. I have some essential oil right here, but if you have, say, coffee or coffee beans or lip balm or a scented candle, anything like that would be just fine too. And we are going to hang on to our scented object in one hand and plug one nostril so that you can only smell it on one side. And then if you would like to do your assessment first, maybe you want to do a different assessment, say trunk rotation or shoulder abduction with your elbow straight. See how comfortable that movement feels. We're going to do our assessment afterwards, or our reassessment afterwards. So plug one nostril, grab your nice smelling thing, and then eyes can be gently closed or open if you like. We're just going to take a few breaths as we tap along the nostril that's open, noticing if you didn't know what the smell was that you had under your nose, would you be able to tell what it is? How strong is that smell? How intense is the scent? And then you can let that hand come down, take a breath in and out, and then do whatever reassessment you just did. Maybe it was with your shoulder, maybe it was rotating through your trunk. How did we do on that first side? The reason why we do one side at a time is because each nostril has direct impact on that side of the frontal lobe. It's the only cranial nerve that does not cross to the other side. So if you just smelled through your left nostril, you just activated the left side of your frontal lobe. And now we're going to do the other side. So just take note of which side gave you a positive response and maybe which side gave you either a more positive or potentially a neutral or a negative response. And you would only train the side that gave you the positive response. All right, here we go. Plugging the other nostril and just holding on to that scent underneath the open nostril, breathing and tapping on that side. Once again, noticing what the intensity of that smell is like. And if you didn't know what it was, would you be able to figure it out? I would like to think that I'd know this was lemon, but I'm always surprised when I do this with my clinic clients. People will say, with a lemon scent, is that eucalyptus? Is it mint? So you just never know. Maybe surprise yourself one day. If you have essential oils, mix them up, pick one, and see if you can tell what it is or get someone to pass you one. All right, let's do our reassessment. The right side was better for me. What about you? Was one side better? I would love to hear. And just to wrap up, we are going to talk about how to incorporate this into your life, because what good is regulating your nervous system if you're not doing it on a regular basis? We need repetition in order to rewire. So if it was helpful for you to smell something nice, I would recommend maybe putting something like a bottle of essential oil next to your toothbrush or next to your nightstand, so that when you're brushing your teeth or washing your face or going to bed, it'll trigger your memory. The other thing that I like to do is get sticky notes as reminders to put them in certain places. For example, maybe every time you use the washroom, there's a note that says breathe, and then you do 3 breaths as you're washing your hands, something like that. The other thing could be with habit stacking, placing a sticky note, say, over your coffee machine or next to your tea in the morning, so that when you see it, there's this reminder for you to cover your eyes or whatever it is that you want to do. Maybe for that one, if you're at work on a computer all day, you have a sticky note reminding you to do that visual reset or the palming so that your eyes can get a break and not feel so dry and tired by the time you're home. So, to summarize our training today, we talked about the first key to regulating your nervous system as a busy professional, which is to use that passive tool. Super easy, really fast, takes maybe 30 seconds, just covering your eyes and slowing down your breath. The second thing to consider is making sure your brain is well fueled. Our brains won't work well when they are undernourished. So make sure that you are breathing throughout the day and that you are eating food with a little bit of glucose in it, so some carbs throughout your day too. And then lastly, activating your nervous system using a drill that gives you a positive response to help boost resilience and increase your capacity in that threat bucket is really important too. We use the cranial nerve 1 reset, the smell drill, and if that one was good for you, then make sure to keep tabs on which side it was, and you can always reassess if you're not sure, and maybe set up some reminders, either of visual reminders, things that you can smell, or post-it notes or alarms in your phone so that you can stay on top of it. As for next week's training, we are having our Q&A, so if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. You can also post them in the Connected Clinicians Facebook group or send me a message. I would love to hear what you are thinking, and especially if any of these drills have been not quite working out for you, let's troubleshoot and figure out why. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and enjoy the weekend, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.